Hi guys, I am so sorry for the change of plans. I know I said I was going to be going live about 9:30, but things happened in my household that made it a little bit difficult, and I knew that it wasn't going to happen at 9. So my husband and I made some arrangements to be able to go live, still go live tonight and not push it off to another day, but it just meant that I was going to be going live a little bit easier. A little bit earlier, than easier. Fortunately and unfortunately, baby girl decided to take a nap around 6 p.m. and 5:36. And then just woke up not too long ago. So they are out getting milk, and I know they're going to be gone for about 45 minutes. So that will be just about enough time to be doing the yearly forecast for 2018. I can tell you from the experiences I've been having lately, from just before Christmas, rupturing a disc in my back, to yesterday's blizzard and a lot of small things in between, my lesson so far this year has been all about going with the flow and just taking things easy and not freaking out about it. I could have, at first when I ruptured my disc and I couldn't get off my belly and walk for a few days, I'm like, well, how am I going to get ready for Christmas? This is crazy. But it turns out I was able to give my husband direction, my mother direction, and just, like I said, go with the flow. Yesterday with the blizzard, we were fortunate to go with the flow, stay at my aunt's down in Orchard Park, and not go through the traffic to be getting home. So without further ado, because I'm sure you're all tuning in not to hear about what's going on in my life, but to hear what is the 2018 forecast, because 2017, what I have been hearing from folks is, in some ways it was really good, in other ways not so great whatsoever. So hopefully 2018 is going to ring in good things astrologically. It is incredibly promising. I am not a astrologer, so I am not going to speak too much about that, but I do know from what I have heard from some great astrologers like Cassandra Butler, 2018 is looking really up. And what better way to start a new year than with a full moon, letting go of the old and starting with the new. So what I am going to do is I'm going to lay out some cards and do a tarot forecast for this year. Always know that with any tarot reading, any reading really, it is only a snapshot in time. And so this is the most likely outcome. Anything can change it. Hopefully we'll be able to change anything that's negative. But here's what we are. Let's see what my cards have to say. And thank you all for tuning in. And let's see. Oh, and you're losing me. See, going with the flow. It's been a little bit of a crazy few days. Okay. So, overall, there is a lot of things that are occurring. When we're looking at January, so the month that we are in, the Knight of Pentacles comes up. The Knight of Pentacles, and it's reversed. So this can represent a person, this can represent an energy. So when we're looking at what is going on right here in this month, we are seeing like a looking back as to what has occurred. I would say that we're going to probably be seeing a lot of things politically when it comes to looking at the budget. We know that at the year end, there was big change and big legislation that was pushed through pretty much at the 11th hour. I do feel as though there's going to be a lot of reflection that we'll probably be seeing by politicians, the states, and what they can be doing and how that's going to be playing out in the new year. This may also be looking at the healthcare legislation and looking at having the new changes to the Affordable Care Act, having changes come about there, because this is again going to be impacting the bottom line of our country, our world. So financially, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of discussion looking back as to what happened at the end of last year, the last quarter of last year, and we're going to be probably having a lot of dialogue. We're already seeing some of that. Unfortunately, I do feel as though there's going to be a lot of people being stuck in the mud and a lot of friction with it, where there will be some butting of heads. But at the same time, I do feel as though, especially looking into when I see February, where we go from the Knight of Pentacles to the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles, again, can be a person or an energy, and Pentacles is the suit of money. It is the suit of career. It's the suit of those material things that keep the world ticking. And so when we have the Queen of Pentacles coming in February, I like that I am seeing, one, the progression from an immature, a naive knight to a much more mature queen. And not only am I seeing that it is going from immature, naive card to that one of more maturity, I'm also seeing that it going from being reversed, which is always the negative qualities of the of that Knight of Pentacles, whereas it's right side up when it comes to the Queen of Pentacles. This is going to be not only good in the month of February, where we will be seeing some resolution, it is also indicative because the second house is all about personal money. I do feel as though you will likely find yourselves being very finding yourself in a better financial position. This would be the year I would be encouraging you to save, to be making those big purchases, investments that are going to be for the long term, as opposed to things like short-term stock gain, being incredibly mindful and fiscally responsible for your funds in this year. I do feel as though we will also be seeing some of that occurring in February when it comes to our political scene. I would not be surprised also if in February we saw some female energy stepping up and playing a very big role. I'm not sure where that is going to be stepping in, but I would not be surprised if worldwide we saw some female energy stepping in and really shaking things up as well. And then we are moving on to March, and this is an incredibly good card. I am seeing the Three of Cups pop up, and with the Three of Cups, this is all about celebration. This is if it comes up in a personal reading, I am sometimes telling people, oh, this is where you are going to be seeing, this is the engagement party, this is the baby shower, this is the honeymoon period in life. So when we are talking about the month of March, it is going to be a really great month. I would be encouraging everybody to really live it up on Mardi Gras. I know that it's at the end of February, but live it up in Mardi Gras. Have fun on St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy the month of March. This is also a house of travel and communication. So if any of you guys who are planning any big trips, I would be encouraging you to be doing it in March. For Christy, who posted that she hopes that travel is going to be good when it comes to April, I do think that this is a sign that it will be good in April as well, because I do feel I feel the end of March, beginning of April, travel is going to be good this year. So anybody who's thinking about any trips, I encourage you to do that. And again, in March, really celebrate. This is showing that there is going to be that time of March is going to be a month where we feel like we can catch our breath. Unfortunately, when we go into April, we are still going to be on a high because we're going from the Three of Cups to the Four of Cups. So we're seeing that progression, similar to the progression we saw from the Knight to the Queen. This is also going up. So the 3 to the 4. We're going to get a lot of stability in April, but there's going to be this sort of stagnation at the same time. So where it's going to be good, we're going to be looking a lot at what has happened and where we're at, and we're not going to be feeling like we want to shake things up too much. Like I feel it's going to be like, okay, we can breathe, let's take it. I would encourage you to take some time to be introspective in the month of March, but also at the same time keep your eyes open for opportunities that are coming your way. This is in the house of home, and so with this I would be encouraging you to be reflective on your personal relationships. I would be encouraging you to be open to looking at your home, and if you're thinking about moving, this might be a really good month to be doing it, and really keeping all of your options open. I would be saying with this, because there is the sense of you're not seeing everything with the Four of Cups, I would be encouraging you, if you are house hunting, to be looking at what the other really examining your must-haves, and taking the time to examine those and perhaps broaden it a little bit. For those of you who are seeking a relationship, I do want to say this is going to be a really good month for it. And Susie, your question came in just as I was saying that, where love is coming in this month. So someone here is psychic, and so do be looking into that. It is, and I do feel as though this is a really good month for relationships. But be looking at those things you don't see, that you might be missing. Take that step back so you don't miss those things. We move into the next house, where I am seeing the King of Wands. This is the house of pleasure. This is the house where it's the things that really get you excited and the beauty of it. What I am seeing with this, where we go from this place of potential new relationships, where we're going to be looking at all things in our personal lives, in our homes. When April comes, it's going to be shaken up a little bit. The King of Wands I am seeing reversed. My hope for all of you, because whenever, as I said at the get-go, nothing is ever set in stone. What I am hoping and I want to encourage you guys to be mindful of is, as I was talking about, seeing the things that are there that you may be missing, broadening your perspective, and sort of taking the step back and trying not to be overly critical in April, and because by that in May, this King of Wands can be reversed, and as opposed to having some of those negative feelings that you'd have to be overcoming, we can then be seeing some of that the more positive aspects of the card. And we will likely be seeing some of this in the political, the big scene as well. So I do want to encourage you, when it comes to things that are in your community that you're very passionate about, make sure you are speaking up and acting out on them. Get engaged, help join a club, go to the town board meeting in April, so that in May things will be more on a high, and you'll be able to see those things in your life that are beauty, that do get you going, and that you are feeling passionate about. May is going to be one one of those months where we may feel a little bit of that tension coming back as it moves then into the month of June, where the Six of Pentacles is being shown. June is the Six of Pentacles. It is all about a give and take. And it is this sharing. Sixes are all about balance. When it is reversed, it is showing that there is something that is out of balance. And I do feel as though with this, because this is also the house of work and your job, this is not the job that makes you excited. It's not the thing that you're passionate about. It's the job you do to pay the bills, your chores that you have to do, all of those things that keep the world running, and that it's just that monotony. And we are going to be seeing politically as well in our personal life where there's this little bit of a slide back, and it's going to seem like we are giving more than we're getting back. I do feel as though it is likely, I'm feeling intuitively this is going to be more on the global scale, where we are going to be seeing where we're not getting as much as we would be hoping for. I feel as the things that are running through my head, I'm really questioning my guides on, because I feel like it's going to be big, but it's not going to have the global, it's not going to have the impact that we would see. Like, I would not be surprised if there is like some big company that decides they're not going to be dealing with us as much. I would not be surprised if like OPEC and the oil companies, all of a sudden we're seeing prices rise, which we do in the summertime anyway, as people are traveling, the supply and demand comes into place. But there's going to be something where it's not just that supply and demand that's coming into play, but on the global scale, we will be seeing something where outside countries are putting some type of a tariff on goods from the United States. There may be an embargo where we're not able to trade with certain countries. I do feel as though it's going to be as a result of our political scene as well. I feel things are getting better. I don't feel as though there's going to be great change, and I do feel as though there's going to be some impact from the outside and from other countries that is going to start impacting what we're seeing at home. But I don't feel as though when I say this, please don't take this as, oh my God, doomsday. I don't feel that. The Six of Pentacles is a minor arcana card as opposed to a major arcana card. Your minor arcana cards are basically those cards that are your playing deck, where the major arcana cards are what makes a tarot deck a tarot deck. There's 22 of them. The minor arcana cards, when they come up, they are talking about those day-to-day things that we are going through, where the major arcana are those really big things that happen. And if it was a major arcana card, let me tell you, I'd be worried. I'd be like, oh gosh, what's going to happen to us? Is there going to be war? Is there going to be what's going on? But this is a minor arcana card, so it doesn't cause that trepidation. Hence why I said a few minutes ago, I'm like, I'm talking to my guides and asking them to clarify, because what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing don't jive. And so that's where I do feel as though, well, there will be some type of outside influence where we're not getting what we think we need. It's going to be pushing some of our political scene forward. And then we go to we go into July, and when we're looking at July, everything's going to be turned upside down. And what's going to be great about this is it's going to be like, hallelujah. It's just going to be like, oh my goodness, because I have the Four of Wands coming up. The Four of Wands, right side up and upside down, is both, it's a good card either way. So while it is reversed, it's showing that there is a harmony. And we are going to be finding that harmony in a partnership. I would not be surprised, as I said, that I feel like there's going to be some type of global intervention in June. I feel as though we're going to be seeing those tides change when it comes to July. And I really do feel as though we're going to see a big shift, likely in our political governmental scene, but I also feel as though with this we're going to be having some new partnership with outside countries. This is also a month of love, so any of those things that are percolating in April, in July, really revisit, because I do feel as though this being in the house of partnerships, we're going to be seeing more of that. This year, overall, I'm feeling as though is going to be a year where there will be renewed love. There will be renewed energies that are coming forth to folks. And it is going to be pure love and a pure partnership. And I do feel as though, as I'm saying this, I keep going back and forth between the personal side, but also that global scene. And I do feel as though we're going to start seeing partnerships and the United States interacting with the world as a whole, less isolationist and more in a unity and community like we see over in Europe with the European Union, where yes, it's not perfect, but at the same time there is something that's trying, and they're trying to do something. And I do feel as though we'll be seeing the United States shifting in that direction throughout the year. Okay, so then moving into, so I'm in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. As we are stepping into August, the Sun card is coming up. Again, this is the Sun card. It is good things are here. The sun is shining down on us. This is in the house of death, taboos, those things we like to keep secret. What is amazing about this is you would think that being in the house of death is to see the sun. It's ironic, but I do feel as though you're going to be seeing big change this year. Do embrace it. I do feel as though this is both on the personal side and on the more global side. All of the change that is going to be slow and sort of picking along. I do feel as though between July and August, that's when we're going to see the big change. There's going to be something that it changes dramatically, and it's going to be falling into place at that time. This year it's going to be about changes. Embrace those changes. Say goodbye to your old self and welcome in that new. This is going to be a year where, especially as I keep hounding on those relationships, I keep talking about them. I haven't talked a lot about people's work life because I feel as though it's going to be those personal relationships you have that are really changing and changing the way you view the world. And you're going to be seeing it especially in the summer months. Everything at that point is really good. And in March, April as well. So March, April, then June, July, August. We're going to be seeing some of that. As we get to September, we have the Eight of Wands coming up. And the Eight of Wands is my green light go card. It is showing where everything is just lining up and everything is falling into place. It's that domino effect. So everything that has been being put into play, those dominoes are toppling, and one thing after the other is just falling into place and moving forward. I do feel as though in your personal life, you're going to be feeling that it's just going to be like, yes, there's that role. That role is going to be taking you really, 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 really really fast. On the political scene, I do feel as though it's going to be like boom, 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 boom. We're going to see like everything being taken out and everything just sort of like falling into place very, very quickly. And so in the summer months, and into early September is what I intuitively feel like with this. It's just going to be falling into place and things are going to be really great. When it comes to this year, I want to be encouraging you again to be watching very closely to everything, because while I feel as though in September we're going to be seeing that domino effect and where it's just going to be boom, 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 boom. And I do feel as though this is going to be partially where things that are not serving you, things that are not serving our political climate, we're just going to be seeing like fall by the wayside. It's going to be everything's going to fall all at once. It's a house of cards. It's going to be falling apart. And I do feel as though we're going to be seeing that. But when it's a personal side, I don't feel as though it's like a house of cards where you're feeling like everything's being pulled out from under you. I feel as though we're blowing away the illusion of what is occurring in our lives. It's just like poof, everything that has, there's not going to be any of that disillusion anymore. We're going to be able to pull the screen and really show what is, and things are going to be able to fall into place. Earlier in this year, as things do fall into place, again, be very mindful to be broad and to keep those blinders off, because it can be a little bit challenging. This is also the house of higher education and aspirations in that regard. I would encourage folks, because the Eight of Wands is coming up reversed, and I've seen it, I'm reading it both ways depending on what the situation is, but when it comes to educational endeavors, I would encourage folks to really pay attention and be mindful about what courses you are taking, and really make sure that it fits into what your long-term goals are, because otherwise I could see you learning a lot and it being very interesting, but perhaps not being as meaningful or as necessary for you. As we move from September into October, the Two of Swords is coming up. This is a card where it basically means you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You have to make a decision. And it is a card that it's going to slice and it's going to hurt either way. In October, I do feel as though this has to do more with the global scale. And I do feel as though there's going to be some big decisions that have to be made. And I actually feel as though on the personal side as well, you'll find that you're faced with some big decisions. And I would encourage you to don't spend too much time making the decision. Go with what your gut tells you, because you're going to be damned if you do, damned if you don't. And it just kind of sucks. So just kind of go with the flow. This is also the card of friendships and the house of friendships and relationships. And as I've discussed earlier in this reading, I do feel as though you're going to be finding that relationships are changing, new relationships are coming in, and you're going to find yourself cutting people out of your life, or perhaps growing more distant to them. Don't feel guilty about that. And I do feel as though this is that year of that change and shedding those ties that no longer are suiting us. As I move from October to November, this is going to be, I am seeing one of the first, we had the Sun card in August, which again, that's where I feel there's that big change, and we're going to see where everything is falling into place. When it comes to November, I'm seeing the Hierophant, a another major arcana card. So another big thing that is another life lesson that comes in. The Hierophant is all about tradition. It is about order. It is about rules and regulations. It is the card of confining, bringing order from the chaos. In November, I do feel as though as the change that is occurring in that August-September time frame, we are going to see in November where things finally are, like where there is an order, where we feel comfortable, where there isn't that what's going to happen, which many of us have felt over the last 2 years when we're looking at the political scene. It's sort of like there's this palpitation. You don't know what to expect, and it's no matter what side of the fence you are on, people have had that passion and that heart pounding. I feel as though when it comes to November, and this is going to correlate with some of those, with the elections that are coming, we're going to start seeing some of that order. We're going to be seeing people stepping up into roles and being that, walking the middle line and being able to speak to many parties. We are going to be seeing a healing taking place. I do feel as though when it comes to people personally, we are going to be seeing with your life, you're going to feel like, okay, I'm finally settled in, and these new mindsets, these new changes that have been occurring for you, and this evolution that you are going through, you're going to find that it is that tradition, and you are finally being able to be okay with it. And then we get to December. Just when you think everything is good and that you're okay with it, there's going to be more big change. There is the Tower card. The Tower card is all about sudden change. It is about the aha moment. So on a personal level, I feel as though it's going to be that aha moment. I do feel as though on a political scene and a larger scene, we're going to see tremendous change come the end of the year. And I do feel as though part of it is because there's going to be so much change that's occurring, that's creating order out of what we have, where there is chaos right now, where it's going to be resolving the tensions that we are seeing, and as opposed to seeing Congress, a president, we're going to, where they're butting heads. I do feel as though when we get to the end of the year in December, we're going to see where there is a peace, where it's going to be great change, and we're finally going to be putting things into action so that it does sort of like rectify the entire year. So those of you who are concerned about any of the legislation that has been passed, anything that we have been hearing through the pipelines, I do want to encourage you to sort of hold tight and, well, yes, prepare for what that actually means. Also, don't be too concerned. Like, prepare to a point, but also recognize and watch where we're seeing things. There's going to be a lot of signs along the way. Sudden change, it happens after people have been hit upside the head 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. There are always those harbingers, but it's when the person isn't listening and there needs to be that sudden change to be getting everything in place. And I do feel as though from that tradition and that order that we have, it is then that we will be seeing sudden change coming for us on a global side. I do feel as though I want to encourage folks, there are going to be great opportunities that come for each and every single one of you between November and December next year. Do jump on them because they are going to be coming into that new year. For folks who want the 12th house of an astrological spread is always about the unknown. It is always about those hopes and those desires that you have and that you carry with you that are unspoken, and sometimes even that unconscious. This would be the time where I'd be encouraging you, don't wait until the new year to be starting resolutions when it comes to the end of 2018. Do jump on them right away. For folks who want to be pregnant and get pregnant in 2018 or have a family, unfortunately, I'd be saying that when it comes to your months for being likely most successful, it's going to be December and March. The best month being December, March a close second, and then I would be saying July could be a good month, July, September. The first half of the year, I feel there's going to be a lot of things. So anybody who's having trouble don't be surprised if some of these other months are your better months. As overall this year, there's going to be a lot of new births, new opportunities. The Ace of Cups comes in as the overall yearly forecast. Aces are all about new opportunities. This is where the hand of God is stepping in and giving people that chance. What you do with it is up to you. Cups being about relationships, and as you've heard me talk, this entire reading, it's going to be about relationships and your place in the world. So do allow yourself to foster that, and do utilize, do find yourself behaving like the Nelson Mandela, like the Deepak Chopra, like the Mother Teresa or Oprah Winfrey. Do look at yourself as being that guru, being that peacemaker, having that kind heart, and utilize your intuition, because as you all know, and you've heard me say, that each and every one of you are intuitive, and it is so dang true, so true. We all have that little voice in our head, that gut feeling that come forth and give us that that sense. Follow that, and you will find that the relationships you build this year, those things that you want, they will be falling into place, especially if it has to do with working with people. Hi, Tamara, and hello, everybody. Sorry, as I saw that pop up. Hi to everybody who's watching, and thank you for listening to this yearly forecast. It does seem like it's going to be a great year, a fun year at that. Hi, Jane. And so, guys, that is the 2018 forecast. At this point, I will ask if there's any clarification you guys would like. And thank you, Kimbrel, and thank you, Jane, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Well, I'm not going to be telling you what I think is happening with each of you if you have questions for me. I might be popping in, doing a lot more Facebook Lives, as you probably have noticed. But if you have questions or you want clarification about any of what you have seen, oh, thank you, Lindsay, your sweetheart. Thank you, Sue. But if there are questions, clarifications, things that, topics that I didn't cover that you'd like more information about, I will entertain a couple of questions at this time. And if there aren't questions, I will hang up and be talking to you guys soon. So, questions. I'm going to pause because I know sometimes it takes a moment and you're listening to me yammer as I'm waiting to see if there's any questions, as I know it takes time to type it in and it takes time for it to pop up on my feed. So any topics I didn't cover or any of the topics that I did cover that you'd like clarification on. the Jeopardy songs going on in my head right now. So, well, then I guess I have done a really good job of answering all your questions for what to expect for 2018. Thank you, Jane. Yes, there, it looks like there's going to be peace for all of us. Christy, I did cover travel, and I know I said I was starting at 9. As I said at the beginning of my broadcast, my daughter threw a wrench in everything this evening, falling asleep early and then waking up. I usually can guarantee she'll be in bed by 9, so that's why I pushed it. I wanted to do it at 7 because I figured, that's a more decent time. It is at this... but she decided, oh no, I'm going to fall asleep and then I'm going to wake up and want my mom. So her papa took her out because she decided she wanted milk, and we ran out of milk this evening. So she was very happy, and he told her he'd buy her some prize. Who knows what that's going to be. But yeah, Christy, if you tune back, travel does look good for April. March would be a little bit better, but it's going to be coming April, and travel this year in general is going to be really good. So do play it back. It's in the first part. I know it's you're going to be listening to me for a long time. But guys, as I did say in reference a couple of minutes ago, you have seen that I've been popping on Facebook Live quite a bit since the beginning of the year. You know that last year I did 100 videos in 100 days. It actually ended up being 118 videos. And then I just kind of got burned out and I was just like not in the headspace to do any more videos. Well, I'm back in the game, and so you're going to be seeing videos, a combination of Facebook Lives, YouTube videos that are polished that will be going there. There will be some video every single day. I may even try my hand at Instagram and Snapchat. I haven't figured out the whole Snapchat thing yet, but it looks kind of fun. So, and I can figure things out. So we will be so if you are interested, be watching every day for where I may be popping up, because you never know what it's gonna be. And it's gotten off to a little bit of a rocky start. As I said, I'm learning how to go with the flow. Yesterday, with the blizzard, we had to change our plans for how we were going to be filming. Today, my daughter decides to wake up and not follow what my plan is. And as I said, when I ruptured the disc in my back, that changed my whole plans at the end of last year. So, oh, Lindsay, that is great. I will be in touch because I have no idea how to Snapchat. We just use it for, my daughter likes to play with all of the faces. That is fun with it. So guys, I am sorry for those who are just tuning in now. I know that I said that I would be starting at 9, but other things were had planned. So that is it for this evening. I will be talking to all of you soon. Have a wonderful night, and it does look like it is going to be a very, very blessed, wonderful 2018. And I can say that with even more emphasis than I felt last year. I was concerned, quite honestly, and I don't know if you saw it in the video or you could tell from some of my expressions. I was so concerned that we were going to have like World War III breaking loose during last year, and I'm glad to see that that didn't occur. Unfortunately, there were some big things that did occur, but at least it wasn't the war or something drastic that I was concerned when I looked at the cards. And I tried to, hopefully I hid that pretty well. I don't see any of that this year. It's going to be I think it's going to be a really good year. And even if there is something drastic, it's going to be creating such a great change for folks. It's just going to be wonderful. So guys, and as always, trust your intuition and remember that you are all mediums. Take care.